What's up, guys? This is the Beyond Prosperous podcast, where I talk about practical principles to push you to prosperity and purpose. I'm your host, Raequane Jones, and today we're talking about two things. First thing is potential power versus the power of potential. And so it's thundering and lightning right now, so hopefully that I don't get too much of that sound in the audio. And so let's jump right into it. Actually, the past couple days, I've been dealing with this fever and kind of with this cold, and I would say that the worst part of it is not even like the sickness. The worst part of it is, for one, at a time of a pandemic, is not a good time to have a fever, first of all, and to be sick at all in any way. It's just not the time for that. And the second thing is really the most important thing, especially for me, is not being able to be around my family. I have a wife and 2 kids, and my daughter, she loves being around me. I mean, she stays up under me, especially when I'm full of energy. Like when I have everything, when everything is good, I'm the one chasing her around. I'm the one, picking her up, taking her everywhere, and just having fun, as much as I can. As whenever I'm not super busy, I always find time to play with her. But just these past 2 days, is that I've just been feeling like having this fever, this high temperature, just feeling stuffy. And so, I mean, really, what situations like that do to you is when you're alone and when you're by yourself, you start to think. I believe that you're able to think clearer, in some senses, and maybe not in all senses, but in some senses. And what it helped me realize is that, like, hey, you can't take your health for granted. And that's like, it's so much of a perspective shift that I am a healthy person. I work out, I make sure that I eat okay, I don't just eat a whole bunch of junk food. I try to stay hydrated. But it was really like, who cares? If you're trying to live a long time, if you're trying to have energy that you want to have, if you're trying to stay healthy like you want to stay healthy, then there's decisions that you have to make. And so, I mean, like I said, it was just a huge perspective shift, and it's not, on the topic that I'm talking about today, but, life is still happening, and life happens to everybody. So let's get right into our topics today. So the first one is potential power. And like how I kind of describe it is, potential power is ultimately is useless or used less. And so having the potential to do anything won't really help you. And I mean, even in the situation that I am in now, I guess, having the potential to start eating right, or having the potential to hopefully eventually get all the way 100% better, like, it's great to have the potential to do it, but until I see it, until it actually happens, then there's really there's no benefit from it, unless you're thinking of it from a better perspective and above perspective of, if I have this potential, then I need to use it and take action in it. So but there's a difference, so having the potential power to do something is fantastic from the point of view that you're actually going to do it, but it's horrible in the sense of one day. I've seen this quote. It's like, it's either one day or day one. The choice is yours. And so at what point, our dream, our purpose, the things that we want to do with our life, the standard that we have for our life, at what point is it going to be day one? And for me, I absolutely believe that our paths have purpose. And so a lot of the things that we've been through, there's a reason that we've been through it. At the same time, at what time are we going to be intentional about taking steps in the direction that we really want our life to go in? And yeah, I mean, even taking jobs, that's paying the bills, that's taking care of your family, I believe that is so important. But at what point are you going to take the job that you want? Not just for the money, but because it's actually fulfilling a part of your purpose. It's actually fulfilling like a part of your destiny. It's the next step, and it's the next season for you to develop and grow your skills to ultimately serve the people that you're supposed to serve. And yes, like, I totally believe that there are jobs that are temporary, that are supposed to be temporary, that are for you to go through to build your wisdom, use the finance to build your wisdom, to build your wealth. At the same time, they're like, those jobs are not forever. And nothing against fast food, but the best example I can give, if you don't want to serve in fast food, if you don't like serving people, then don't do fast food. If you don't want to be in, if you don't want to be in fast food, while the manager position may be open, if you go for it and get it, use that going for it and getting it. If you get it, use that position to better influence, to become a better leader, to become a better manager, to become the best person that you are. But ultimately, if that's not the field that you want to be in, don't get stuck because of the position. There is so much more. There is so much more to you than the position. There is so much more to you than the current now. There's a promise that God has given you. There's something that God has planted in you. And so just because you have the potential to be the best manager at a fast food restaurant, if your heart is in farming, or if your heart is in being a mechanic, then don't get stuck. If that is what you're doing now, be the best at that, but know in the back of your mind, I'm saving this money to the side to either go to school or to start my own thing. And don't get stuck in the position, because the potential power, you have the potential to one day become a mechanic, but if you never take the steps, if you never turn in those gears to get there, you may get stuck in the position that you're in. And so another example personally for me is when I was probably 16 or 17, was living in the country. Man, my brother was living in the country with my dad, and we didn't have garbage people. So you didn't have the big trucks coming down the road to pick up the garbage. And even we literally lived on a dirt road, and it was so mind-blowing to think back to that. I lived on a dirt road for real, in the country. But what we had was these barrels, and what we did is you start a fire, you put the trash in it, you burn the trash, boom. That take care of the trash situation. You get new barrels whenever it's too full, whatever. So me and my brother, we are competitive, but one specific night, we decided to jump over the fire with the trash in it. My brother, he's lightweight. He's much lighter than I am, and at that point, I'm playing football every single year, so I'm lifting weights every day. I'm doing all these different things, trying to build muscle, to basically protect myself when I'm on the field. And so, it's one night we burned the trash, and he wanted to decide to jump over the fire. And of course, me, I'm just like, what? Like I could do that. And then of course, I run, I jump, and I make it over. But not without damage. So when I go back and I check my shorts, I got holes, burnt holes all up in my shorts, and they just laughing or whatnot. So I had the potential to jump over the fire, but not to make it all the way over. But what point, what point did I make by jumping over that? There was none. There really was none. But my brother, he didn't just have the potential power to jump over there and make it successfully. He could actually do it without harm. And so the potential power is good as a good motivation, but if you don't put in the work, if you don't put in the action, if you can't, you could get burned. I'll say that. And so the next thing is the power of potential. Most of us never tap into our full potential. That's just, if you think about that by itself, there is so much that we haven't done because we think we can't. Or there's so much that we haven't done, and because we haven't done it, we don't even want to try it. If you haven't done it, you may not be able to do it yet, but you have to at some point put some effort into doing it. You know what I'm saying? And so the power of potential is motivating, it's encouraging, it's inspiring. And so when was the last time you challenged yourself? When was the last time you put yourself in a position to have to overcome something that you didn't think that you could overcome? When was the last time you intentionally put a little bit of stress on what you were doing so that you can become better? You know what I'm saying? When was the last time you put a weight on your shoulder and said that I'm going to do this regardless of how it feels right now, because I know the benefits that come after? And so this is the power of potential. The power of potential could be that engine that drives you to the next level. The power of potential could be that thing that gets you up in the morning, that gets you excited. Like for me, looking at my daughter and not being able to be with her and play with her, that was the potential power to say never again. Like whatever I have to do, I'm going to do as much healthy stuff as I can to make sure that I stay healthy. I never want to be in another position where I have to be away from my wife and my kids and separate myself and self-quarantine. Whatever I can do to protect myself, I will never ever be in this position again to the best of my ability. And so the potential, the power of potential is really, it really is important. If you take action. Like words are great. Words can really bring power. Like even God, the Bible says that the power of life and death is in the tongue. And so words are powerful, but words don't do anything until you take action on them. So if I say that I'm going to run and I don't do it, there is a power that comes with saying it, but until you take the action, you won't get the result. And so there are things in your life that you have not taken action on, but you have the potential to do. And all I'm saying is that I need you to tap into it. I need you to tap into that potential and actually start transforming your life into the thing that, into the life that you see yourself living. And if you haven't started dreaming yet, I need you to begin dreaming, because in this season, God is developing people. Like how I keep saying it is, I feel like God literally stopped the world for a moment. Like this COVID-19 got a lot of people at home, even working from home. And so we have more time to be with each other. We have more time to do certain things. And so are you using this time to develop yourself? And I understand that even essential workers, they still out there grinding and doing their thing. And I thank God for them. But for those of you that are at home and you got extra time and you getting paid, then it's time to start tapping into what God has given you, the potential that God has given you, and start changing and transforming things. Just the people that I'm really talking to is the people that got a message in them, but they haven't started living it out. Because that's who I was. For the longest, I had this thing that was driving me. It's like, I want to be an example. I want to be an inspiration. I want to be a motivation to the people around me. But it wasn't until I decided in myself that I'm going to be an inspiration that I started really doing things, that I started really creating the videos, that I started stepping out of my comfort zone. Because again, this camera in front of me, like, it wasn't always easy to do this. But I overcame that because I'm like, there is something more important. There are generations that are more important than my insecurities. And so it's great. It is great. It is fantastic that you have the potential to do something. But until you start stepping out and doing it, I promise you, you will not get the results that you want. You see, and even to this point, I'll talk about this even more on another podcast, but the difference between grace and favor, I believe there's a huge difference. I believe that grace is something that you don't deserve, but favor is something that you have to be in position to receive. I believe that grace is something that God has given you that you do not deserve, and favor is something that God has given you because you were in the position to receive it. I promise you, you will not receive a promotion that you don't apply for. And so, yes, it's beautiful to have this potential power. It's great. It's phenomenal to be able to have the potential to do something great. But until you decide to step and walk on that faith that God has given you to do something amazing, to change somebody's life, then what are you going to do? At what point are you going to say, okay, it's time for me to start doing something? Because I promise you, it don't take much to change somebody's life. Sometimes it just takes a good morning. Sometimes it just takes a smile. And so I pride myself, literally, when I'm walking around, if I'm in a store, I smile probably the whole time. Why? Because I don't know if my smile could really change somebody's day. And I've told that I have a beautiful smile. And so I use that, as much as possible, because I believe I'll take it as a gift that from God that I have a beautiful smile. So I smile at people and hope to get a smile back and hope to lighten their mood if they're upset. And so the potential power is important. So just about done here. God formed us with so much potential, but it is up to us to tap into it. This is your life, and you only get one. So I want you to go all out and live a life that's beyond prosperous. That's beyond prosperity. That's beyond just the salary that you get. That's beyond the wages that you get. Because if I worked at Chick-fil-A, I promise you that people would see a difference when they talk to me and when they talk to somebody else. If I worked at a Burger King, they would see a difference if they talk to me than somebody else. If I worked at a Walmart, people would notice something different about me. Like I would be so much of a servant because this is my job. This is what I'm doing to serve. So whatever I have to do, whatever I get to tap into, like I was working at Coca-Cola, and I promise you, I was different than everybody there because I took responsibility for everything that I could take responsibility for. And so whatever it took to show that I'm not like everybody else, that I'm uniquely me, that when I come in, I'm not bothered by what other people are feeling. Like if you feeling down, if you're not having the best day, it doesn't stop me from being the best that I can be. And so when I come in and I'm a manager or whatnot, I make sure I talk to my team. I make sure I talk to my coworkers and be like, hey, what's up? You know, what's going on? And how can I help? If they're having a bad day, I put a little bit extra effort into making sure that the day goes smooth. Why? Because I'm the leader. Because I'm not even the supervisor. I'm just the manager to help keep things running smooth. But I take the responsibility to say that I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that you're good. And that was the difference. That's what set me apart. I put in the extra effort to make sure that we were good. And so, potential power. Let's not just let it be potential power. Let's let this energy flow through us and not just be the potential, but the actual action that we're taking to do it. So from now on, yes, let's understand, let's tap into potential, but at some point, let's transition it into actual working energy, actually working into actions in our life. And so, regardless of what you do right now, regardless of what your job is, regardless of what you believe that your purpose is, I need you to master your moment, but at the same time have an idea of what your purpose and your destiny is. And every single day, I need you to sow into it. Whether it's a thought, whether it's a book, whether it's a video, I need you to do something and serve as much as you can, because I promise you, when you begin to serve, those things come back to you. And not just yes, serve the people that God has directed you to, but there's a particular group that you know in your heart, these people are my people. And so again, I'm talking to those people that have a message, that's trying to deliver something into the earth and sow something into the earth to leave a legacy of people that's transformed and changed. And so I appreciate your time listening to this podcast, and I'm so excited for the videos and the audios to come. And if you enjoyed the things that were said today, if you got something from it, if it inspired you, if it motivated you, share, subscribe, because I am on another level. I can feel the transformation that God is doing in my life right now, to speak more, to be more direct, to be more influential, to be more open. And so now, as much as possible, I want to be authentic, genuine, and myself. I want to be as real as possible when I speak. And that comes with practice. That literally comes with practice, to be vulnerable. And so let's end this on a good note. My daughter, my wife, my son, they are great. They are the best thing that have ever happened to me. And so I am going to give everything that I can to make sure that I give them the life that I can only dream of right now. And I'm going to do everything that I can to give them a life that they can only have because they're with me, not because that somebody else is giving them that life for them. I'm taking full responsibility of my family. I'm taking full responsibility of the people that are connected to me, and I'm lifting them up. I'm strengthening them. I'm equipping them. And so if you want somebody like that, if you want to listen to somebody like that, I promise you, I'm coming and I'm giving it more and more and more each day. And so y'all be blessed. You guys be blessed, and pray. And I pray that the glory of God be with you, that the Holy Spirit flow through you in everything that you're doing, and that God gives you the energy to continue to follow and to flow in your purpose. In Jesus' name, amen.